Hello. Okay, I think I'm going to do a quick little demonstration on how to make a double dog leg hole. Or at least a method I would go about doing it. So I just grab myself a plot here. Let's just move a hole out here in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be a pretty straightforward and simplistic video. I'm not going to go into a grave amount of detail. Just basically going to throw down some stuff. Alright, so I'm a firm believer in this. The distance, well, let me do one more thing. This theme isn't working out for me very well here. Before we get started, we'll just flip the theme. Give me something I can deal with. Taco de Boreal, I haven't been under that for a while. The problem with that is I don't like it. Okay, I can deal with this. There we go. So, come over here and just jump right into my favorite tool in the whole deal. So we already know that a driver usually hits somewhere around 265 according to as the crow flies in the wind. So I like to start off somewhere around 265. Now I already have that set up. I'll add my second point. We know that 3 wood's good for like 245. Let's just make it a little in between. This is downhiller, so let's consider where you're going to have to use something like 3 iron. Even though it said it was a 5 wood type of distance. Go back on here. What the heck? Why isn't that allowing me to there we go. And the approach shot to the middle of the green is going to be another 187 to the middle. Okay, so there we have a double dog leg basic start off. The first initial landing area, 30 yards is a good deal, so I run this out here. Probably like about 15 yards. Same thing here, another 15 yards approximately. Seems how you're not hitting the driver, it doesn't need to be so far, so 25, 27 yards is probably a good deal for fairway distance. That's the basic target area for where you're going to be coming into. Alright, so now we have a couple of distances. Now to enforce this dog leg, I'm going to run it down here about 250, just to think about where I'm going to throw my obstruction there. And I want to make it so, let's say you get too far offline, 60 yards, 65 yards, and you got about 30 some odd yards to keep out of trouble. I like to think about a good 60 yards of playable unobstructed area, but that's, you know, it always varies. This is all subjective. So there's my initial couple of points there. Okay, so then I come over to my skull plane. I'm going to just go ahead and grab something and let's make this a lake. Again, I'm not worried about the specifics of it all right now. We're just kind of throwing out some stuff. And to enforce the other side of this area, okay, I'm not going to get no trees. So we already know that's about 225. It's a little downhill. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll allow a little bit of leeway. Let's say you hit in this area. So we're already looking at 200-yard carry if you get crazy. That will come into play with about a 300-yard drive. We're looking at about 200 yards carry, but then you have some area you can run off to. Again, give myself about 70 yards. We don't want to have an easy approach in. If I go straight through there, you're not getting there. So that's not even an issue here. so if you hit too far to the left over here, it's going to be a runoff towards the lake. Don't want it to be unfair, but you want to keep something, you know, challenging. This is all pre-planned before I even get it. Notice that the waypoint doesn't even really matter. The only thing about the waypoint is, just to be fair for the rookies or the first-time players that actually rely on the auto aiming system, that waypoint should kind of get you to where your tee shot should go. That's just my personal opinion. It's not cooperating with me here. What I needed to do is get to my set par. Okay, I'll move it later here. It's not being nice. I don't know why it's not cooperating. Usually the trick here is just running it out far enough. If it doesn't work, get rid of the offending marker. There it is. Alright, so now I should be able to go in here, and I just saw it. Again, if it's being a butthead, you can always see I had to set par and I lost it. I'm wasting way too much time on it. Sometimes it can be quite a pain in the butt. What's going on with it? But alright. Once you get it to agree where you want, like I said, you get it to set par, then you look for move. Where you know this is approximately 265. That's a good area to start laying, determining your waypoint in your area. I'm just gonna kind of set it right here. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it's kind of a good place to start. All right, that gives me my line into the green, which isn't gonna make a bit of difference because we want a dog leg. What this will determine, though, is what I want to do for obstructing the shot straight in. First, let's get my line back to the center of the green. It's not even defined yet. Let's run my marker back out here about 30 yards. It gives me about a 60-yard clearing. That's where my obstruction is going to be. So this might be some forest or hills or what have you not. I kind of like hills. I'll grab my little dog shape here and let's do something kind of crazy. Give it a little nice effect here. Again, just kind of stupid, just to give a little obstruction. Okay, now we got something there. I didn't want to have too big of a issue here. Okay, so now we have my basic idea for my double dog leg. Oh, man. You know, just to keep things here quick and easy. I'm going to come over here. I've already determined this is about 30 yards. So I'll run this out about 30 yards. Boom. That's the basic target area. Same thing here. We'll come over here and boom. And I'll just expand this a little bit because this just give us a green to work with, and go a little bit bigger with the fairway. That way I can hold in my green. Little trick there. Let me just undo that for a second. A lot of designers use this particular trick for setting up your rough. You'll go ahead and click down your fairway. I'll hit escape because I'm doing this with the mouse. Come back in, click on it. The same pattern was there. I'll click out about 2 or 3 times, maybe more, depending on how much rough you want to have the border around. And you get a nice symmetrical border. I'm not big on that, but it's it's a time saver for most of those that do development or course design on the consoles. It's a nice clean look. I won't condemn it, but it's not for me. I'm picky. The reason I usually do the fairway is because usually you want to run a fairway into a green with your fairway already determined. You got a nice looking shape that comes into your fairway. Most of my fairways I just go ahead and I use the circle brush and bring it on in. Like I said, this is just kind of an ad hoc design. Just kind of give a quick video. try to keep certain objects that are auto-generated, bushes and stuff like that, on the course. So I'm lazy, and it does a better job of planting stuff out there than I probably would do. So I let it do its thing. Trying to keep the target area, yeah, target area or landing zone, I should say, right around 30 yards. And then tighten it up to make it a little more difficult for the longer hitters. You know, if you're going to be crazy and you're going to loft the heck out of your driver to get you out 280, 300 yards, there should be some sort of penalty for going that crazy. That's my own personal opinion on it. A lot of variations on this. I'm not, like I said, worried about how the fairway's looking right now. We're just doing it. I'll throw in some rough. God dang it. Trying to do something quick, and I end up going around here. Come on out here, and because we don't want to be too crazy, just throw some rough down here. Normally I keep my rough a little tighter than this. I like maybe a foot at the most. I take that back, a yard. Foot's a little minimal. Another trick is to use the biggest brush you can muster to get your results. The reason for that is when you make a mistake and you have to go back and start deleting off certain things, it's easier to grab a hold of a bigger brush size than a smaller one. Again, I try to keep the rough so it doesn't destroy any natural bushes or anything like that that the course automatically or auto-generates. I try to keep planning for the later part. I use what is generated as a good guide as to what I want to accomplish later. Again, I'm just really zipping through this, no rhyme or reason. Just to give you a quick idea on how to create that double dog leg. I'm not even going to go into bunkers and all that, or the heavy rough. just to give it some more color. Come on to about 6 yards across. That's my basic goal. And then just kind of guesstimate it on in. Because it slopes off. Okay, well that was stupid. I didn't want to wipe that out. I'll use a fairway to give myself a tee box. Hit my escape button. Now, oh shoot. Now what I do on the tee boxes is I will use this method just to give myself a nice little border around, just to be different. And to ensure a flat area. All this changes later. Okay, now that I got my distances out here, this is pretty cool. I already know I'm about 260. So now I can start going crazy. Another thing is I like to utilize bushes to plant my trees. It hides the tree trunk. It doesn't look like it's a toothpick planted straight into the dirt or the ground, just to help keep a little bit of variation. So now you got a few trees. Make it interesting. Where's the old ponderosa? Throw a couple of ponderosas in here. Let's come over on this side. Let's spruce it up a little bit. Again, that's about 60 yards away for width, because we already put that line there. So I already have a good idea what I want to do. You can carry it, but you're going to be in trouble. We already know that's about 200 yards out. This is why I really love having the yardage markers. Again, this is just a quick tutorial. I'm just throwing stuff down just to make stuff a little bit interesting. Throw a tree up here just to... The Highland Steam doesn't give you a good variety of trees. Well, you get I shouldn't say that. You do get a few trees, but most themes you get 3 trees, you get 2 here. I'm not big on this. Okay, since I'm into a pine mode, I'll just kind of keep the pine theme going. Seems like there was another set of pines over here. Okay, spruce isn't really what I want. But seems how I already got spruce over there. Just sprucing up a little bit. So now we have a double dog leg. And for green, let's attempt to keep it around 30 yards. So our entrance area right there. Back of it another 15 some odd yards. And we'll give it a side view about 20 yards. It's a good little point of reference. And for a quick thrown down green, I like particularly using this one brush because it gives a little more fuzziness for what was I saying, for fringe area. Again, this is one of those things I wished I had a separate individual brush or texture that I could utilize for fringe only instead of having to rely on the green to create my fringe, because sometimes you want a lot of fringe. Just another cutter off. Okay, so there's my green. Nothing special. We'll go ahead and give it a quick play just to show you what I've done, and then I will end the video. But this is how you can go about utilizing the distance tools to create a double dog leg. Of course, a lot more refinement is going to be needed here. This is, again, was just a show off. Good wide area. This is, like I said, about 30 yards across the fairway, which is more than fair, especially in high winds. Now we can't go that direction so well, so we forced the double dog leg. Ideally, you would want to make it visible, so you have if you were playing with no aids on, no yardage markers, no scouting cam or anything like that, you would have area that you can actually see the target area you're trying to hit. Okay, I hope that helps. I know it's nothing spectacular, but it does give you a quick rundown on how to go about creating a double dog leg.